and Margaret in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Margaret, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I just wanted to talk about, while a big part of the discussion as far as who it's better to vote for has to do with the picking of Supreme Court justices.
Yes.
I feel like Obama's right to appoint the next one has gotten lost. And not being very religious myself, I can't help but wonder why all these higher-ranking Republicans like Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, and the rest that, claim to be holier than thou haven't looked at Antonin Scalia's death during Obama's presidency as, like, divine intervention. What do you think?
Well, I confess that there was part of me that thought maybe it was.
For sure.
Yeah, or maybe his heart just gave out with his new girlfriend. Or whatever. I mean, I have no idea. But I do agree with you, Margaret, that President Obama not only should have the right, but does have the right under the Constitution of the United States to pick his to nominate his Supreme Court nominee, and the United States Senate, according to the Constitution, should provide their advice and consent. And Mitch McConnell is simply refusing to do that. He's not doing his job. He's actively obstructing President Obama. This active obstruction has been going on ever since they met in the caucus room for the caucus room conspiracy the night that President Obama was being inaugurated. I have been talking about that meeting and about, that conspiracy, I'm probably since about 2 months after it happened. I mean, I've been talking about it on the air continuously. It's just now starting to show up in newspaper articles and books and things. Right. And now that what's her name? She wrote the book about the Kochs, Dark Money. Jane Mayer wrote a book called Dark Money, and in that book she points out, which I didn't know, I learned this from Jane Mayer, that about 2 months after the caucus room conspiracy, there was a similar meeting at one of the Koch brothers' billionaire events, where Jeff Flake, as I recall, the senator from Arizona, argued Jim DeMint, who was then the senator from North Carolina, now runs the Heritage Foundation, heavily funded by Kochs, that the argument was, should we completely obstruct Obama on everything, even stuff we agree on, or should we merely obstruct him on things that where we have policy disagreements? And the merely obstruct him on policy disagreement position was Jeff Flake's, and the obstruct him on everything was Jim DeMint's, according to Jane Mayer's book, Dark Money. And she writes in her book that Jim DeMint won the argument, the billionaires in the room agreed, and that has been, ever since then, the direction of both the Republican Party and the conservative movement is to delegitimize President Obama. Donald Trump carried that banner for years and years on their behalf, or on his own behalf, or God only knows, saying that he's not a real American, he was born in Kenya, he's a secret Muslim, et cetera, et cetera. Delegitimize him, and then simply refuse to grant him power, refuse to go along with his policies, refuse to give him a vote for the Supreme Court and anything else. And no president, to the best of my knowledge, has ever suffered the kind of, frankly, traitorous or seditious behavior from an opposition political party, I think, in the history of the United States. I could be wrong, but I think this is absolutely unprecedented. And it is a stain on the Republican Party. It shows how craven and, these guys don't give a rat's ass about the future of the United States, about what's good for our country, about what's good for our planet. All they care about is their own personal power and wealth. And very, very wealthy people are keeping them in power and helping them become wealthy. And it's absolutely disgusting. Margaret, I got to move along, but thank you for the call.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.